You're tired. Tired of feeling weak. Tired of explaining yourself. Tired of chasing people who never saw your worth. Every time you beg for attention, you bleed. Every time you post for validation, you crack. Every time you apologize for being you die a little inside. The world didn't raise you to be a warrior. It trained you to obey, to submit, to smile when you're broken, to explain yourself like a child seeking permission to exist. But not anymore. Picture the battlefield of your life. Smoldering ruins, broken promises, shattered pride, chains of comfort still clinging to your wrists, the ghosts of your past whispering, "You'll never change." And then, silence. You stand, not with words, not with tears, with fire in your chest and steel in your spine. No more explaining, no more begging, no more being soft. You walk forward, cold, focused, ruthless. You walk away from the weakness. You walk into war. And you don't say a single word, because real men rebuild in silence. And when they return unrecognizable. The storm, not the victim. If you're done talking, if you're done begging, if you're done bleeding out for people who never bled for you, then leave your mark below. Write this in the comments right now. I will rebuild in silence. Not for likes, not for attention, but as a commitment to yourself. To shut your mouth, tighten your grip, and rise. This channel is not for the weak. It's for the ones who vanish to train, then return forged in fire. If you're ready to disappear and come back unrecognizable. Subscribe now, because we don't heal in public. We don't explain our scars. We don't share the process. We rebuild in silence. And when the world sees us again, it won't recognize what we've become. You were never taught to be a man. You were taught to be useful, to be liked, to be soft enough not to offend anyone, even when you're breaking inside. You were trained to fear silence, to explain your emotions, to chase closure, to cry for attention on a screen that doesn't care. You were programmed to believe that being loud equals being strong. But here's the truth. Noise is weakness. Silence is power. You feel lost because you were never told how to stand alone. You feel empty because you gave your power to people who never earned it. You feel broken because you've been bleeding for years and calling it healing. Men like you are everywhere, scrolling for answers, apologizing for setting boundaries, justifying their masculinity, begging women to stay, explaining their truth to people who never lived their pain. But not the Stoics. The Stoics didn't explain, they didn't chase, they didn't react. They suffered in silence. They trained in silence. They rebuilt in silence. And when they returned, the world bent around their presence. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Modern translation: stop posting, stop venting, stop seeking approval. Become the man you are too scared to be. This video is not a comfort zone, it's a battlefield. Each minute will strip away your excuses and expose the weakness you've been hiding behind. The men who survive this video, they won't be the same. Because you're going to learn 5 ruthless Stoic habits, not for your ego, not for the world, but to kill the weakness eating you alive. Habits that will harden your discipline, silence your emotions, cut the dead weight, and forge the steel you've buried under years of softness. This isn't motivation. This is war. A war against the pathetic version of you that begs, explains, scrolls, and waits. You've done that long enough. Now, you kill that version. In silence. With fire. With cold, unshakable logic. Welcome to the path of the Stoic warrior. You talk too much. Not just out loud, in your head. You're constantly explaining yourself. Justifying, rationalizing, posting, replying, reacting, updating, trying to be seen, heard, understood. But every word you spill into the world, it bleeds your power. Every reaction is a leak. Every explanation is a crack. Every attempt to be understood is a surrender of control. The weak need to explain. The strong just act. You've been taught the opposite. Society tells you to communicate more, to be open, to express your truth. But Stoic men, they express their truth through action, through discipline, through the silence that shakes the room more than any scream. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Now flip that. You've been listening to the wrong people and talking to those who don't matter. You've reversed the design of your own nature. You speak before you act. You vent before you solve. You post before you reflect. And then you wonder why you feel weak. The world trains you to be loud. They tell you to market yourself, to build your brand, to get yourself out there. But the more you put out there, the less remains in here. Inside you, you lose your edge when you leak energy through constant expression. You lose your fire when your thoughts are spilled instead of forged. Think of every great warrior, every disciplined man in history. They moved in silence. They built in silence. They became powerful when no one was watching. Because that's when the transformation is real. Noise is the language of the lost. You can feel it, can't you? That urge to reply. That burning need to prove your point, to justify your pain, to say something when someone disrespects you. That's not strength. That's emotional slavery. Every time you react, you chain yourself to someone else's energy. Every time you defend yourself, you lower yourself. The Stoic man, he doesn't respond to every insult. He doesn't participate in every battle. He doesn't owe anyone a single word because he's already won. In his own mind. Why silence feels unnatural to the weak. Silence terrifies the weak man, because in silence he has to face himself. There's no distraction, no applause, no quick dopamine hit from likes or validation. Just him, his thoughts, his shadows, his demons. That's why he speaks. That's why he posts. He runs from his own reflection. But the Stoic? He runs toward the silence. He stares the storm in the face. He doesn't fear being alone with his thoughts. He sharpens them. He knows that inner dialogue is the first battlefield. Win that war, and no one outside can touch you. The power of the unpredictable man. There's a reason people fear the man who doesn't talk much. Because they can't figure him out. They wonder, what's he thinking? What's he planning? Why isn't he reacting? And that mystery, that stillness, that lack of noise, it becomes power. It forces people to respect you, to question themselves, to second-guess their moves around you. The loud man is easy to read. He reveals everything. You know when he's angry, when he's insecure, when he's afraid. But the silent man, he's a ghost on the battlefield. No footsteps, no cries, just execution. You don't owe the world anything. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them your story. You don't owe them your emotions. You think you do because you've been trained that way. You feel guilty when you're quiet. You feel like you're doing something wrong when you don't respond. You feel pressure to clear things up, to make peace, to be transparent. But let me tell you this, warrior. You owe the world nothing, only your actions, only your results, not your thoughts, not your regrets, not your emotional breakdowns. Those are yours. You handle them, you master them in silence. Silence forces you to level up. When you go quiet, you're forced to evolve. No more sympathy, no more external validation, no more audience to clap for your excuses. It's just you and the raw truth. You're not disciplined enough. You're not strong enough. You're not consistent enough. You're not where you want to be. Because you've been talking instead of doing. When you stop speaking, the noise fades. When the noise fades, you can hear the truth. And the truth, you're capable of much more. But only if you shut your mouth and build. Real men move in silence. Think of the hunter in the forest. He doesn't announce his presence. He doesn't scream into the trees. He walks slow, breathes steady, eyes sharp. That's how you move now. Like a hunter, like a ghost, like a storm they never saw coming. You don't warn anyone. You don't update anyone. You don't share your goals. You don't explain your grind. You just work. You just vanish. You just rebuild. And one day, they look up, and the man who once explained everything, he's no longer recognizable. The new you is not loud. You will be misunderstood. You will be called cold. You will lose people who only loved the version of you that begged and explained. Good. Let them leave. Let them wonder. Let them feel your absence like thunder in their bones. Because when you go silent, you don't disappear. You become a storm, gathering power, quiet, controlled, ruthless. And when you return, you speak with actions. You speak through your results. You speak without words. That's the language of warriors. Action plan. Cut the noise today. No more explaining your pain. Feel it, face it, own it. No more arguing with people who drain you. Walk away. No more posting your struggles. Solve them in the dark. No more emotional venting. Journal, reflect, sharpen. No more small talk with the wrong people. Protect your energy. No more public progress updates. Train in silence. No more justifying your boundaries. Hold the line without words. Final words. This is your new code. You are now a silent force, a weapon forged in solitude, a man of cold focus and inner fire. No more noise, no more explanations, no more weakness. From this point forward, you build in silence, you suffer in silence, you transform in silence. And when the time comes to reveal yourself, they won't recognize you. Because real power doesn't need permission. It doesn't need approval. It doesn't need to speak. It just arrives. Unapologetic, unshakable, untouchable. Silence is your new weapon. Use it. Comfort is the silent killer. It doesn't stab you in the back. It tucks you in, feeds you, whispers, "You deserve a break." And then it rots your discipline from the inside out. That's how weakness grows. Not in fire, but in pillows. Not in storms, but in climate control. Not in war, but in comfort. You're soft because you've lived too easy. You've been protected, pampered, and entertained. And now, you're emotionally fragile, spiritually hollow, physically average, but you weren't built for that. You weren't meant for couches, snacks, screens, and endless comfort. You were born for battle. For hunger, for fire, for struggle. And until you kill your addiction to comfort, you'll never become the man you were meant to be. Comfort makes you weak, and you know it. Think about it. Every time you avoid discomfort, you lose strength. You skip the gym. Softness wins. You sleep in. Weakness wins. You scroll for 2 hours instead of working. Comfort wins. And every time comfort wins, a part of you dies. Not in some poetic way. In a real, dangerous way. Your reflexes dull. Your mind slows. Your edge vanishes. You start to fear the cold. You avoid challenges. You complain about pain. You expect the world to adjust to your emotions. That's not manhood. That's decay. The lie you've been fed. The modern world has lied to you. It told you that pain is bad, that suffering is unhealthy, that pushing your limits is toxic. So now, we've got a generation of men with broken spirits and soft bodies, asking the world to make life easier. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Seneca said, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition I feared?'" You fear hardship because you've never chosen it. You fear discomfort because you've never trained in it. But once you do, once you embrace it, you become unbreakable. Pain is not the enemy. It's the door. Every man who changed his life started with pain, cold, hunger, sweat, loss, and he didn't run from it. He walked into it. Because pain is the only door to transformation. You can't talk your way into discipline. You can't think your way into masculinity. You can't wish your way into power. You have to suffer. You have to hurt. You have to bleed for it. But the pain doesn't destroy you. It strips away the weakness that has been killing you for years. Voluntary discomfort. Your new religion. The Stoics practiced it every day, sleeping on the floor, wearing ragged clothes, eating scraps, fasting for days, standing in cold winds with no coat. Not because they were poor, because they were rich in strength. They knew that real power comes from choosing discomfort before the world forces it on you. If you train in pain, life doesn't scare you. Heartbreak doesn't break you. Loss doesn't ruin you. You've already been through worse. By choice. 10 ways to kill. Comfort, right now. Cold showers, every morning. Start your day in war. Wake at 5 a.m. daily. Conquer the morning or the morning conquers you. Train until you sweat. Physical weakness breeds emotional chaos. Fast 16+ hours weekly. Master your hunger. Master your mind. Sleep on the floor 1 time per week. Remind yourself comfort is earned. Wear simple, functional clothes. Kill the need to impress. Delete social media for 7 days. Silence the noise. Return to focus. Walk 10,000 steps alone. No music. Let your thoughts sharpen you. Eat 1 bland meal daily. Discipline your cravings. Read Stoic philosophy for 30 minutes a day. Rewire your brain for war. You don't need money. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need permission. You just need the will to suffer. Why you must choose discomfort before life forces. Life is coming for you. Breakups, betrayals, death, disease, loss. And if you've lived too soft for too long, it will destroy you. You'll collapse. You'll fall apart. You'll beg for rescue. But if you trained in discomfort, if you chose pain before it arrived, you'll stand. When your heart breaks, you'll still stand. When you lose everything, you'll still stand. When the storm hits, you'll walk straight into it. Because pain won't scare you. You made pain your ally. What happens when you kill? Comfort, you become dangerous. Not to others, to your old self. The version of you that hits snooze, quit early, and whined about the little things. You bury him. And what rises? A man with fire in his eyes. A man who thrives in chaos. A man who doesn't complain because he already conquered worse. That's how leaders are made. That's how warriors are born. That's how men become legends. Not in comfort, but in crucibles. Final warning, comfort is not neutral. You think comfort is harmless. It's not. Every soft decision you make is a vote for weakness. Every excuse is a nail in your own coffin. The couch is killing you. The snacks are slowing you. The overthinking is stealing your fire. But the good news? You can kill comfort before it kills you. All it takes is one decision, to stop running, to suffer on purpose, to die daily in the fire. So you rise stronger every time. Final charge. Pick your pain. Pain is coming either way. Choose it now, or have it forced on you later. Suffer on your terms. In silence, without applause, without needing anyone to understand. Because when you choose discomfort, you build a body that doesn't break, a mind that doesn't flinch, a soul that doesn't quit. You become the man they can't shake, the man they can't manipulate, the man who walks into hell and keeps walking. Because while everyone else was hiding in comfort, you were training in pain. And now, you don't fear the fire. You are the fire. Your life is chaos because your days are chaos. You wake up late. You check your phone first thing. You scroll. You drift. You react. And before the day even begins, it's already lost. You think your life is broken, but it's not your life. It's your system, or worse, your lack of one. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more feelings. You need structure, a warrior's rhythm, a battle plan for your day that makes weakness impossible. Because without routine, you become soft, distracted, and chaotic. But with it, you become a machine. Cold, focused, relentless, stoic in your discipline, alpha in your presence, untouchable by the chaos of the world. Men without routines become slaves. You say you want freedom, but your life is ruled by impulses. You eat when you feel like it. You sleep when you're tired. You work when you're forced to. You rest when you're bored. You scroll when you're anxious. You quit when things get uncomfortable. That's not freedom. That's slavery to your feelings. A stoic man doesn't live by emotion. He lives by code. He operates on discipline, not dopamine. He decides who he will be in the morning and becomes him through the day. Every single day. Why routine is a stoic weapon. Marcus Aurelius said, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being." He didn't rise for luxury. He didn't rise for comfort. He rose because duty demanded it. That's you now. You don't get up because you feel like it. You get up because the war demands it. You train, you plan, you execute, because your mission is bigger than your mood. Routine isn't about being robotic. It's about building reliability. So even when your mind is weak, your actions stay strong. The weak wait to feel ready. They wake up and ask, what do I feel like doing today? And every day they fall because they rely on feeling instead of forcing. But the warrior doesn't ask. He commands. He doesn't wait for alignment. He creates it. Your feelings are traitors. They change. They lie. They will talk you out of greatness every morning. But your routine, that's your sword. That's your armor. You build it once, and it builds you forever. How routine rewires your mind. Every time you follow your routine, you kill the old you, the lazy one, the unfocused one, the one who starts and quits, the one who plans and never executes. Each habit becomes a kill shot to your past. Each repetition becomes a ritual. Each decision compounds your power. Routine trains your brain to stop negotiating with weakness. It makes the hard choices automatic. It makes discipline effortless. Because the Stoic doesn't rise to the occasion. He defaults to his system. Rituals of the Stoic warrior. Here's what your life looks like when you're serious. Wake up before the sun. No excuse, no snooze. Just rise. No phone for the first 60 minutes. Your mind belongs to you, not the world. Cold water on your face. Remind your body it's wartime. Journal or reflect. Your thoughts are weapons. Sharpen them. Train, sweat, bleed. Your body is your battlefield. Own it. Eat clean, simple meals. Fuel, not pleasure. Work in silence. Deep, focused, ruthless execution. Read or study Stoic text. Upgrade your mind daily. Track your victories. Know what you're building. Sleep on time. A tired man is a weak man. It's not about being perfect. It's about having a system so strong, it pulls you back on track when your mind wanders. How to build an unbreakable routine. Even if you're failing right now. Start small. Don't try to overhaul your life overnight. Build brick by brick. Pick 3 non-negotiables. Wake time. Workout. Night shutdown. Master those first. Use triggers. Link actions together. Wake equals water. Gym equals journal. Cut distractions. Delete what breaks your flow. Your phone is not your friend. Track ruthlessly. Use a wall calendar. No breaks. No mercy. Punish slips. No motivation? Good. Do it anyway. Reward wins with growth, not comfort. Hit a goal? Go harder. Repeat, 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 until it becomes muscle memory. Your routine is not optional. It is oxygen. It is the spine of your discipline. The routine makes the man. Not your dreams, not your ideas, not your ambition, your routine. That's who you really are. Not what you think, not what you say, but what you do every single day. If you wake late, scroll mindlessly, train inconsistently, and work without intensity, then that's your identity. No matter what you say you are, but if you rise early, move with purpose, speak less, train hard, and execute daily, then you're already a warrior, even if no one knows your name yet. When the world falls, routine stands. Life will test you. Breakups, failures, pain, chaos. And when it does, your emotions will scream at you to fall apart. But your routine will keep you standing. It will drag you out of bed when heartbreak crushes your chest. It will move your body when depression paralyzes your spirit. It will sharpen your focus when anxiety clouds your mind. It will save you when your soul forgets who you are. Routine is not for when things are good, it's for when everything is falling apart, and you need something solid to hold on to. Routine is what separates the men from the boys. Boys do what they feel. Men do what they must. Boys cancel when it's inconvenient. Men execute regardless. Boys need motivation. Men rely on systems. So if you're serious about transformation, kill the boy and rebuild in ritual. Rebuild in silence. Rebuild in the repetitions that forge steel from flesh. Final words. Make it sacred. Your routine is your temple. Every day you show up, you honor the warrior inside. Every day you miss, you spit on your own potential. Don't make excuses. Don't change it to fit your emotions. Don't wait for inspiration. Make your routine so sacred, so unbreakable, that people feel your discipline in your presence. Let them say, that man doesn't miss. Let them feel the fire in your schedule. Let them see the results and wonder how you did it. And you? You say nothing. You just rise. You just repeat. You just execute. Because warriors don't talk about routines. They live them. You don't just become weak on your own. You absorb weakness from the people around you, from their energy, from their words, from their habits, from their comfort, from their chaos. Your circle isn't neutral. It's either sharpening your blade or dulling it. And most of you are dying slowly because you've surrounded yourself with emotional parasites, time wasters, and comfort addicts. And you call it friendship. But a stoic man knows the truth. If your environment is soft, you'll become soft. If your people are lost, you'll stay lost. If your circle is average, you'll never become elite. You can't grow in rotten soil. You want to evolve. But you're stuck with people who laugh at discipline, who mock ambition, who sabotage your momentum with, "It's not that deep," and "Just chill." Every time you say no, they guilt you. Every time you try to level up, they remind you of your past. Every time you set a boundary, they call you cold. That's not a tribe, that's a trap. And the longer you stay in that environment, the more your fire dies. You become polite when you should be powerful. You become agreeable when you should be absolute. You become emotionally loyal to people who would never bleed for you. The weak cling, the strong cut. Look closely. The ones you constantly explain yourself to. The ones who gaslight you when you show strength. The ones who disappear when you suffer but expect access when you rise. Cut them. No arguments, no explanations, no final conversations. Just silence, just distance, just discipline. Because the more energy you spend fixing weak connections, the less you have to build the kingdom within you. Epictetus didn't say, "Fix them." He said, "Leave." Epictetus said, "Avoid fraternizing with people who are not like you. If you must, bring them around to your way of thinking. If you fail, withdraw. Withdraw, not negotiate. Withdraw, not justify. Withdraw, not rescue. You don't owe anyone your evolution, and you certainly don't owe the old tribe your downfall. You weren't meant to save everyone. You were meant to save yourself. Family, friends, even them? Yes. If they poison your purpose, they go. If they mock your mission, they go. If they stunt your progress, they go. Not with hate, not with drama, but with cold, unflinching logic. Because loyalty means nothing when it's pulling you backward. Because we've known each other for years is not a reason to keep someone who drains you. Because shared blood does not guarantee shared values. You're not breaking hearts, you're protecting your soul. Audit your circle. Like a Stoic general, you are now the commander of your life. You are building an army of self-discipline, purpose, and fire. So look around. Who drains your energy? Who brings confusion, chaos, or drama? Who distracts you from purpose? Who tempts you back into the man you're trying to kill? Now answer this. Would Marcus Aurelius fight beside them? Would Epictetus dine with them? Would Seneca invite them into his final hours of reflection? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. The power of solitude. You say, "But I'll be alone." Good. The most dangerous men in history trained alone. They walked in silence. They built empires while the crowd laughed, and when they returned, no one was laughing anymore. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's clarity. It's recalibration. It's the furnace where real strength is born. You learn more in 1 year alone than 10 years surrounded by people who don't get it. If they don't respect your mission, they don't deserve access. You're building something sacred. Discipline, clarity, focus, fire. And yet you're still letting in people who belittle that, who pull you back into distraction, weakness, and emotional chaos. You think you're being kind. You think you're being a good friend. But what you're really doing is handing your sword to someone who doesn't believe in war. You're now a gatekeeper. You protect your peace like a king protects his throne. No access without alignment. No entry without respect. The silent cut. The Stoic way. Here's how it's done. No confrontation, no long message, no guilt trip. Just stop replying. Stop showing up. Stop giving them your energy. Stop feeding the connection. You don't owe them closure. They had years of access. You don't owe them an explanation. They ignored the warning signs. You don't owe them your pain. You already bled for them enough. Walk away, silently, with finality. Let them feel your absence like a blade. What happens when you starve? Weak connections. You'll feel it immediately. Your energy returns. Your thoughts sharpen. Your time multiplies. Your progress accelerates. Your focus becomes savage. Your fire becomes pure. And most of all, your power becomes untouchable, because you're no longer spending it defending your mission to people who don't deserve to hear it. Now you move in silence. Now you operate like a ghost. Now you command your environment like a general, not a guest. Final words. You are not for everyone. Let them go. Let them say you've changed. Let them say you're cold. Let them say you think you're better, because you are better, not because you're perfect, but because you're becoming. You've chosen the harder path, the colder path, the warrior's path, and the weak will never understand it. You weren't meant to be understood. You were meant to be legendary. So cut the noise, cut the comfort, cut the distractions, cut the weak. And when the smoke clears, let only warriors stand beside you. You've been taught to avoid pain, to chase comfort, to seek pleasure, to run from difficulty like it's death. That's why you're weak. Every time you dodge hardship, you reject your own evolution. Every time you pick the easy path, you bury the warrior you were meant to become. But the Stoics knew the truth. Hardship is holy. They didn't wait for pain to come. They walked into it, voluntarily, deliberately, with cold logic and iron will, because what you face on your terms loses its power to destroy you. Suffering is coming. choose it before it chooses you. You think life is hard now? Wait until it hits you without warning. The breakup, the betrayal, the injury, the job loss, the death, the heartbreak that rips your chest open. It will come. And when it does, if you've lived soft, it will crush you. But if you've trained in the fire, if you've suffered on purpose, if you've hardened yourself through voluntary trials, you will stand, you will endure, you will walk through hell and not even blink. The Stoics didn't flinch. They prepared. Seneca said, "It is in times of security that the soul should prepare itself for difficulty. While fortune is kind, it is the time for it to be strengthened against her violence." Most men pray for easy days. The Stoics trained for the hard ones. They fasted when food was plenty. They walked in cold winds with no coat. They lived on scraps. They slept on the ground. They stripped away the comfort to reveal the fire. Not because they hated life, because they knew real power comes from mastering what others fear. Why voluntary hardship is the fastest path to strength. Pain chosen is power earned. When you choose to suffer, you gain clarity, you regain control. You prove to yourself that fear is an illusion. You build armor that emotion, failure, and betrayal can't pierce. You become dangerous because now nothing surprises you. Nothing overwhelms you. Nothing breaks you. You've already tasted pain, and you didn't flinch. You have to seek the fire. You will not become disciplined by accident. You will not become focused through motivation. You will not become elite by waiting for life to shape you. You must walk into the fire every single day. No one's coming to do it for you. No one's waking you up. No one's saving you. You are the fire. You light it. You walk in. You stay. Forms of voluntary hardship. If you're serious, these must become part of your life. Fasting, train hunger, silence cravings, master the stomach, cold exposure, show your body who's in charge. Early rising, conquer the war before others wake. High-intensity training, master pain, break mental limits. Spartan living, strip your room, kill luxury, own less. Silence retreats, go a day without speaking, let your mind scream. Bland food challenge, no spice, no flavor, just fuel. Mental discipline. Tasks, sit in stillness, study philosophy, delay pleasure, physical cold walks alone, no phone, just you, wind and discomfort. Sleep reduction cycles. Go 5 hours per night for a week. Prove you can. These aren't hacks. They're ancient weapons. Use them to carve steel into your soul. Most men avoid pain. Stoic men invite it. They'll call you insane. They'll mock your rituals. They'll say, "Why suffer when you don't have to?" Because they don't understand. They think success is luck. That masculinity is natural. That power just arrives one day. But you know better. You know that greatness is forged in the fire, that suffering builds silence, that cold showers build heat inside the soul, that early mornings build mental knives, that fasting builds focus sharper than steel. You don't suffer for punishment, you suffer for dominance. Pain is a mirror. Look into it. Pain shows you exactly who you are. It strips away the mask. It shows your weakness. It exposes your excuses. And in that mirror, if you're honest, you'll see the man you've been avoiding. Too soft, too emotional, too distracted, too weak. But if you keep staring and you keep walking through the pain, you'll start to see something else. A man rising, a man who doesn't beg, a man who can't be shaken. Because now you've faced the one thing most run from, and you didn't run. Make pain part of your identity. You are now the man who chooses the hard way, the early way, the lonely way, the cold, ruthless, disciplined path no one claps for. And every time you do, you strengthen your identity. The man who finishes what he starts. The man who doesn't need pleasure to stay focused. The man who trains through heartbreak. the man who works through fatigue, the man who smiles in pain because pain is home. Pain will either destroy you or rebuild you. Here's the truth. You're going to suffer in this life. There's no escape. But you get to choose what kind of suffering. The pain of regret, or the pain of discipline, the pain of emotional breakdowns, or the pain of cold silence and focused rage, the pain of staying average, or the pain of becoming unstoppable. The weak suffer randomly. The Stoic suffers with purpose, and that makes all the difference. Make suffering sacred, turn it into a ritual. Every day, ask yourself, where did I bleed today? Where did I suffer and smile? What comfort did I kill? Track your pain like progress. Mark it down. Celebrate it, because every drop of pain you endure with silence, every hardship you embrace with cold calm, every craving you crush without flinching, turns into power, into clarity, into spiritual muscle. Final words, the storm is inside you. You don't need a motivational speech. You don't need another podcast. You don't need someone to save you. You need pain, chosen, embraced, mastered. Let the world stay comfortable. Let them chase ease. Let them cry when life gets hard. You go into the cold. You fast when others feast. You train when others sleep. You suffer when others scroll. You bleed when no one's watching. You die daily, so the warrior in you lives. Because the fire isn't coming to save you. You were born to become the fire. Now you know. You've seen the battlefield for what it truly is. Not outside of you, but within you. The war isn't against society, not against your past, not against your enemies. The real war is against the weak version of yourself, the one who talks instead of acts, who scrolls instead of builds, who explains instead of walks away, who dreams but never executes, who craves comfort, who avoids pain, who fears silence. That version of you must die, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. Now, because every second you let him live, he steals from your future. He drags your mission into mediocrity. He pollutes your soul with excuses. This is your final warning. If you don't kill your weakness, it will kill you. It will take everything, your drive, your relationships, your discipline, your mind, your masculinity. You'll wake up 10 years from now, tired, bitter, overweight, ashamed. Regret will crush your lungs. You'll look in the mirror and see a stranger. And the worst part? You'll remember this video. You'll remember you knew what to do and chose not to. That's the real tragedy. Not that you were weak, but that you stayed that way by choice. But it doesn't have to end. That way, you now hold the sword, not just knowledge, weaponized truth. Ruthless habits that kill the weakness, silence the noise, and unleash the fire. You know what to do. You've seen the 5 ruthless Stoic laws that separate warriors from sheep. Cut the noise. Let silence become your power. Kill comfort. Make pain your home. Build routine. Let discipline become your religion. Cut weak connections. Walk alone if you must, but never walk backward. Embrace hardship. Choose suffering. Forge steel. If you do these, not once, not for a week, but daily, relentlessly, without applause, you will become a ghost, a shadow of silence and focus. A man so centered he doesn't flinch in storms. Most men will never get it. They'll laugh. They'll tell you to relax. They'll say, you're too intense. They'll keep chasing pleasure, distractions, validation. Let them. Let them stay average. Let them destroy themselves slowly in noise and comfort. But not you. You are not born for average. You are born for conquest, for silence, for inner fire that cannot be extinguished. The path of the Stoic isn't glamorous. It isn't sexy. It isn't easy. It's cold. It's brutal. It's thankless. And it's the only path that sets a man free. What happens if you commit? You stop explaining yourself. You move in silence. You rebuild from the ashes. You become a man who walks through fire and never looks back. You develop eyes that see through manipulation, a spine that never bends, a mind that doesn't beg, a soul that can suffer and still stand tall. And most importantly, you become your own leader. You stop following. You stop reacting. You stop needing. You become the storm, unapologetic, unshakable, unstoppable. Remember this final Stoic truth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This is the truth they've buried. The truth modern men have forgotten. You don't need to fix the world. You don't need everyone to understand you. You don't need applause. You don't need revenge. You don't need to be seen. You need one thing: power over yourself. That's the Stoic code. That's the ancient truth. And that's the only freedom that lasts. One final order: don't thank me. Don't comment unless you mean it. Don't watch another video until you execute. Because the time for watching is over. The time for planning is over. The time for talking is over. Now you move. Silently, ruthlessly, with cold logic, with fire in your chest and steel in your eyes. Because the man you were, he's dead. And the one who just woke up, he doesn't speak. He doesn't beg. He doesn't fear. He just builds.